Hey there everybody, my name is Connor Brownlee, also known as Everyday Con Man, and if you're watching this, odds are you've either seen it in your feed or you watched the first part of the huge update video. This is essentially just kind of me getting more into detail about a lot of the stuff, talking a bit more about us personally, because I've always liked what a lot of YouTubers do where they vlog and they talk with their audience, and it's really nice to see their faces. That's kind of the entire idea as to why I broke out the camera and started doing this again. So I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, essentially, I don't know, me, I guess? I don't want to make this a huge, this is all about me. This group is about this wonderful group of people that I have grown up with, essentially, and essentially just met through the internet, and we've all become so close to the point to where I actually now live like with the Splatoon trio, as we like to call ourselves. Allie, Justin, and I technically all live together now, so this is all ours. So it's really interesting how over the past about 4 to 5 years now we've been able to get to know each other and actually be able to, you know, team up in more ways than just, hey, we're professional business partners. No. We're like actual friends who actually hang out and actually do stuff and fucking see movies on the weekends and like bitch and moan to each other. Like, we're actual people, and I don't know, it's just really cool. Essentially, yeah, I've just met a lot of really cool people, and I kind of wanted to take this time to like appreciate them, but also kind of get more in depth about Lovac in and of itself. Because while Lovac has only been up and going for like the past 3 to 4 years now, actually the timeline for Lovac's really interesting now that I'm like trying to put it all into fruition. Because Lovac was founded in 2012. We actually had like our 5th anniversary like a month ago. April 5th, I believe, is the anniversary of Lovac, like as a founding. And then about 2 years later, I was kind of put in charge of everything, and that's kind of where we are now. And honestly, it's been really cool to see Lovac kind of bloom as this, like, I don't even want to say it's like a corporation, just we as a group, like, getting attention. It's weird to me. I kind of wanted to give, like, a bit of a backstory to me because I've actually been on YouTube for 10 years now. I started back in 2007, on, you know, a really, like, I never want to say the word cringe because I hate that word so much because it's been used way too often for way too many things. But yeah, like, I made it when I was 13. You can expect a little bit of cringe there. So I started when I was 13. I'm now 23. Obviously, like, I had no idea where YouTube was going to take me. I'm not even successful now as far as YouTube goes. You know what? I take that back. I'm pretty successful. I'm not successful off of YouTube, but I'm successful because of the friends I've made off of YouTube. I'm successful because I am currently living with 2 of the greatest people that I've ever met, all because of this stupid voice acting group that I decided to audition for back in 2012. Back when I was 13, I was making stupid, like, machinima videos. Essentially, I wanted to make a YouTube series about, Smash Bros. And that's, if you've ever seen, like, the old machinima series Smash Tasm, that's essentially what I was trying to make. It was, honest to God, pretty much just Smash Tasm, to the point to where I even took its name at one point. Of course, that never really saw the light of day. It only had, like, 1 official episode, and then it just kind of got panned, and I just stopped working on it because that's when I started getting into middle school and going through high school. Like, throughout high school, I started a second channel called Friends for Dead, which was a gameplay channel, which consisted of me pointing a camera at the screen and playing video games with a bunch of my friends with absolutely no capture cards, no professional editing, none of that, just us sitting there being idiots, like, while a camera was pointed at the screen about whatever we were talking about. And then finally we kind of had Everyday Con Man. Everyday Con Man was the thing that I kind of wanted to make my own. It was my series. It was going to be my professional, like, reviewing series where I can critique different things and essentially just be another internet critic, I guess I want to say. And while that was all well and fun, like, I literally made like a huge plot about this series that I plan on making based around the character of Everyday Con Man. And essentially just what happened was I took too long, things just never matched up, like it just never really worked out. Not to mention, like, around the time when I was planning on making it was around the time when I started to hit the really low point in my life. And it's interesting going back through like 10 years worth of me on YouTube that nobody's ever seen, mind you. Like, each channel got like 100 subscribers, maybe. This Lovac is obviously like the most subscribers that I've ever had to deal with, and it is absolutely insane. Not taking it for granted or anything, like, it's wonderful, but it's something that I've never had to deal with. And because of that, that's actually why I've been kind of putting my nose to the grindstone and trying to make Lovac as much of a thing as possible. I didn't have this drive with my old Machinima series, the Pichu Bros. I didn't have this drive with the Friends for Dead. I didn't have this drive with Everyday Con Man, for Christ's sake. This series that I wanted to make my staple, make my own. I didn't have that drive like I do with Lovac. And I don't know what it was, if it was just not having fun making it or what. But it's been one of those things to where making videos with Lovac has been an absolute treat. And I don't know, I just wanted to reflect about that and talk about it more in depth, I guess, because we do have a lot of really cool stuff coming. We're about to have another meetup, and it's going to be very exciting. I'm so excited for it. I'm going to be meeting a lot of new people. Not even a lot of new people, just reintroducing myself to like a lot of my friends, you know? Just seeing them again, it's going to be great. But even then, there's a couple of new faces, like we're going to be meeting Doodled for the first time, which is going to be super interesting. I've really wanted to meet him for a long time, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then on top of that, we're going to have, you know, a lot of people like coming back. Like, I'm really excited to see Martin again. Martin's going to be coming down from Canada to come and join us, and last time he was here, we recorded the Mario Party 6 footage. That stuff's like a year old now, and like we're just now finally getting it out because God, it took so much time, and like just having to sit through it's been, I don't want to say a hassle, but like there's only so much you can hear us in the video. There's only so much Mario Party you can take before we're just like, okay, we gotta stop. And then not only that, we're gonna have Chell come down too, and this is gonna be like the fourth time we're gonna be meeting her. And every time she's down, it's a treat. Like, it's always fun hanging out with Chell. And I know I'm just like this idiot who's just fuming with emotions in this room full of, I don't even know what the fuck this is, foam. But the truth of the matter is that I'm just really excited to see them. And it's really cool that I have this kind of relationship with all of them. I think that's kind of what this video has been based around, is just how much Lovac in general means to me, you know? And a lot of times it can be really, really hard. Like when I started out, hell, even to this day, it's really, really hard. Because, like, I don't have the same drive as I used to. It's totally different. When I first started working for this channel, I was at my lowest point. I've mentioned it once or twice, but I was at, like, my legitimate lowest point. And over these past 2 years, like, so many things have just changed, and for the better, mind you. Like, meeting so many new people and, like, getting to hang out with, like, hanging out with Justin a lot more, hanging out with Allie a lot more. Like, when she came down and moved in, that was phenomenal. Hanging out with Stu, like, I first moved in with Stu and, like, things went pretty great. Like, it's just been one of those things where it's been so much fun. You know, that's the drive now. It's just, we're having so much fun with each other. And it's really interesting to, like, see in comparison to, like, everything I've ever done in the past. Because, yeah, of course it's work. Video editing is work. Sitting behind, you know, a computer or whatever, that's work. Like, there's no beating around the bush there. But as I'm doing Lovac, it's interesting to kind of see where everything else fell off. I stopped caring about my old Machinima series because I had other things to do. I had other things that I wanted to pursue, and one of those things was Friends for Dead, because at that time, my friends are the reason why I was having fun. I made the Pichu Bros with my brother, and I love my brother to death, mind you, but this is when we got to the age to where it was starting to show, where we just kind of started getting our own different lives, you know? So we didn't really hang out as much anymore. And so I thought, what else was there? Well, playing video games with my friends. So I'd play video games with my friends, and I loved it, and I felt like our reactions should be recorded and just basically saved for prosperity's sake, you know? And then eventually I reached that point to where that wasn't fun anymore. And I hate to say it, because even nowadays I go back to my old place in Nebraska and I hang out with those same people and I play video games with them and I have an absolute blast. But, you know, like, a lot of history happens. And the Friends for Dead, like, just something kind of threw a hatchet into it. And so it kind of made it hard to continue doing that. And on top of that, I think a lot of that was me moving away. I moved to college that year, like the last year of the Friends for Dead. And that's when I started working on Everyday Con Man. Everyday Con Man was kind of a side project. I wanted it to kind of be my baby while I was in college. I wanted to be the next big internet critic, you know? And as I was in college, it was great because college is a place for learning. That's where I like to study. That's where I like to do other things, but I ended up pretty much failing college. Like, it wasn't even fun anymore. Like, college ended up overshadowing everything that I wanted to do, and it started to drive me to my low point, to the point where I dropped out. And whether or not I go back to college is kind of up to the future, but for now, I'm just here living on my own, you know? Obviously, that's probably not how I should end that sentence, because I clearly live with, like, two really great friends, but I digress. My point is, Everyday Con Man kind of dropped off because I started to reach my low point, to where I moved out of my house, I started working full-time at a fast food job, and I moved away from home. I moved from Omaha to Lincoln, Nebraska, and I lived with my girlfriend at the time. And we stayed together for maybe about 2 months after I moved in with her, which really, really sucked. And so this is officially when I kind of reached my low point, and I just kind of gave up on Everyday Con Man because it wasn't fun. And during this time, like, I just kind of hit a really, really low point, and that's essentially when Lovac came in. And Lovac was a big voice acting group that I joined back in 2012 when I was still in college. And that was just something I did on the side. That I was focused on Everyday Con Man. I didn't want to, like, really get into Lovac. And even when Lovac, like, was kind of struggling to find leadership, I, like, purposefully tried backing down because I'm not into the whole leadership role. Like, I come off as, like, to a lot of my friends, I come off as this, like, big protagonist. Yeah, let's do this. Haha, I'm gonna speak in the protagonist voice. We can do it, guys. But, like, in reality, I'm like, man, I was focused on Everyday Con Man. I didn't want the pressure of being this big leader that Lovac needed, you know? And then essentially, push came to shove, and I was kind of like the only one who stepped forward to be like, okay, let's just do stuff. And that's when 2013 came around to 2014, where we started to produce way more content. We really got ourselves off the ground. That's when, like, Lovac Look Back started happening. And just essentially we just took off, I guess. we started with like Five Nights at Freddy's comics and stuff like that, and then we later went on just kind of picking up on whatever was hip at the time, for lack of a better term. Like, we went on to Pokemon, we obviously had to go through Undertale and Homestuck and all that fun stuff. Like, and throughout those years, I slowly, progressively started to get better, and that's when Stu was like, hey, we're moving, do you want to move in with us? And I was like, yeah, sure. I took that big leap and decided to go move in with them, and while the times weren't always super pretty, like, there were a lot of really, really tough moments that came out of, like, you know, moving and living in this whole new environment after, like, pretty much reaching my low point, you know? But over time, I mean, it was for the better. Like, I'm definitely better now. And, like, all of the problems and issues of the past, like, I mean, they're behind me now. They're behind us now. Like, all of Lovac have their own problems. Every single person here has their own life. And my whole, I guess, motto for Lovac is that I wanted to help out my friends, essentially, and help them live a better life, I guess. Because that's what they did for me, and so the least I can do is do the same thing back. But yeah, that's essentially it. I just wanted to kind of get all this off my chest and kind of talk more in depth about what Lovac's about, what we're doing for updates. Like, I know the Splat Night season finale is coming up. We plan on having that posted pretty much right before Splatoon 2 comes out. So that's exciting. The 9-day showcase had something very exciting planned. There's a reason for the numbers at the end of each video, and if you've seen the videos, if you see them in rapid progression, you'll kind of notice that it's a countdown. So what that's counting down to is something that Allie and I are very excited to reveal, but we're still keeping it under wraps for now. On top of that, we've actually been recording a lot of game nights. We had we had about a week's worth of us just playing games every night, and it was very interesting because we kind of went back to the basics of, well, let's just sit at the computers and Skype each other. Like, Allie and I sat in 2 different rooms and Skyped each other, and it was interesting because it was like old times again. And then I would like step out of the room and like instantly that would kind of like shatter the fourth wall, you know? Where I'm like, oh, right, if I turn around, I'm gonna see the bedroom where she's at, you know? Like, very simple stuff like that. But it was interesting, and it's interesting to like think back and realize kind of how far we've come. And I think that's what this whole moving thing has really brought to light for me, is that we've come a really long way. And the best part is that we're not really stopping anytime soon. At least, not as far as I can tell. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the long and short of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a roommate that I need to pick up because he just got off work, so I'll see y'all later. I know it's not a good jackpot, but Justin, listen to me. I have the camera out right now. Can I use $1 to win this game? It's been years, alright? Let me... Nope. Damn. I used to be the king of this game, alright?
Yeah,
I used to be the king. Welcome, we are at an arcade and about to finish up the day. And I am going to show you how to play this game.